It's 7 o'clock on a Monday evening. What am I doing? I'm like eating popcorn and doing maths, I guess. And if you told me that as a teenager, I'd be eating popcorn and doing maths, I would have looked at you like you had lobsters crawling out your ears. No bird right now. I can't bird up. I have to do this now. I'm in the zone. I have to do it. I breathe the bird later. But I am eating popcorn. I guess it's like a euphemism. Because we're getting close to the wire with the dividend. MMTLP, we're getting very close to the wire. And, it might be talked about or announced, at the meeting or shortly after the meeting, or it might be down to the wire last minute. But there's a recent acquisition I want you guys to look at, and I think it's going to pertain to us in some aspects. Hold on just a second. Limited editing. This is Pigeon Lady, Bird Girl, in the raw, uncooked. Pigeon Lady uncooked. Ooh, uncooked. Careful with uncooked poultry. Okay. There was a recent acquisition by the energy company Colgate. I'm not sure if they're related to Colgate Palmolive. Maybe they're not. Maybe there's no relation. Colgate Palmolive, which also owns Hill's Science Diet, dog food. But there's this energy company called Colgate. And they had some recent acquisitions. Look how this is presented. It says that, and I'll pull it up here. It says that it is an undisclosed seller. And it makes me think, like, okay, see, look, this was very hush, NDAs. Now I got popcorn in my teeth. Sorry, guys. This was a terrible idea. It makes me wonder if when Torchlight is announced, the special dividend, if it's going to be shown as an undisclosed seller. I think you will like this particular case. So Colgate's a very small energy company, and if you go to their website, they do some exploration and they do little bit of production, and they were looking to expand further into the New Mexico. So they bought this chunk of undeveloped land. One of my biggest criticisms is I was calculating more developed land. I'm not sure how developed the shell land was. But this is pretty much largely undeveloped land. And as you can see, according to this article, there was a purchase price of $190 million. Okay, $190 million. Also, look at this article. It said, they announced today that they've entered the definitive agreement November 7th. But, look at this. It was effective. The property was acquired September 1st. Here's another one. And this one isn't even a big company. It was very hush. Shh. Don't talk about it. He's going to tell. September 1st, they took control of the asset. Shh. November 1st. Okay, November 7th. Woo! We're entering a definitive agreement to buy this. That's like 2 months, guys. 2 months. September, October, November. That's 2 months. That's pretty good. So, again, all these studies, they took control of the asset before it was announced. And this one was just over 2 months. This supports evidence for me again. Another piece of supporting evidence that the Oro Grande Basin has been acquired. That's speculation on my part. This part here is calculations. But that's, but I'm going by all of these evidences that all of this, they acquire it months before it's announced. All right, back to the math. Now, how does this apply to Torchlight? Let's do some math again. Okay. This article is from November 7th. Oil was pretty high then. It was like $83 a barrel. Right? And this particular company, they bought $190 million. What they got was 22,000 acres. And they also got, it was undeveloped land, 22,000 acres. So, according to this article, all right, what they don't give us is the peak value. They don't give us that PV, the peak value. I'm guessing it's a peak value of 10, like everything else, because it is undeveloped land. It's a peak value of 10, which is great. That's your half-life. So it's currently producing only 750 barrels of oil a day. Oh, but it has the potential. This particular property of 3,600 a day. And they're pretty happy with it. They say with the upcoming price of oil, they're gonna pay it back pretty quickly. And so they're looking to have some cash, and they're looking for special voodoo financing, some special financing over the next 2 quarters of 2022. But it makes me think, like, I guess whoever buys Oro Grande, are they going to say this is an undisclosed seller just to keep it hush hush? And then, oh, it's announced, and here's your dividend, guys. That could be the case. But let's do some math. So it has a potential, according to this article, of 3,600 barrels a day. We'll assume a half-life of 10, a peak value of 10. It's not given, but this land's undeveloped. So we'll go over the course of the year, at least 20 years. So half-life of 10, 3,600 barrels a day times 365. Okay, that gives us 1.314 million barrels. Times that by 20, and you get 26.28 million barrels of oil, about, estimated. It could be a bit more. It could be, well length of 25, but we'll go with 20. So, we have these two numbers. We've estimated now there's about 26 million barrels of oil. $83 market price barrel, you minus your cost of goods sold, you get 58. $58, that's your gross price. I hope Michael Gross pops out. He's that guy from Tremors, Michael Gross. He was in all the Tremors movies. Okay, we have $58. Now, if you take the low side estimate, which I was if you did the math, I'm pretty surprised with this because it is undeveloped land. It's only producing 750 barrels of oil a day. But if you times it by 12%, remember, we have a range of 12 to 18% of this number, 58. Let's do the low side. We have 12% of 58. That gives us $6.72. Now, it says they have a revenue interest of 80%. So you times that by 80%. What's their cut? They get $5.376 for every barrel of oil. Now, we've estimated 26.28 million barrels of oil. And they get $5, and at this market price, that's how much they pay for oil, $5.376. You multiply those two together. How much do you pay per barrel oil? How much do you take home? What's your value? Multiply by how many barrels there are. So you multiply those two together. 5.376 and 26.28. you get at the 12%, guys. Oh, 26.28. We'll put these numbers up here. So at that 12%, you get $141.2 million. $141.2 million. That's my estimate using my math, how much they paid for that, for undeveloped land. That's how much they paid for undeveloped land, my estimate. But they paid more than that. There's 49 million to be accounted for, just under 49 million to be accounted for. And it came with a few regs, but you know, they're producing a little bit of oil. Maybe they paid 15%. So we're going to multiply. Remember, I said this number here of the gross. 83 minus 25, average cost of goods sold, you know, that's $58. This cost of goods sold is 2019 prices. That's what I'm basing it off of. Okay. From that 53, it could be 12 to 18%. That's the valuation of oil in the ground. That was the low in 12. Let's do something a bit higher at 15%. So we know that it was 58, right? Cost of goods sold times 15%. Oops. That gives us $8.7. And then they get 80% of that. You multiply 80% of $8.7, you get, yep, $6.96. I had to double check. $6.96. Okay. Before it's pumped out. Once it's pumped out, it's other costs are realized in. But when it's still in the ground, that's how much they get. All right, 6.96 times 26.28 million barrels of oil. And you get $182.9 million. All right, now let's see. Now let's do 17%. Let's go the high side, 17. I'm curious now. Let's go 17. So 58 is our cost of goods sold times 17%. All right, that means we have $9.86, but they get 80% of that. That's their revenue interest. So it's $7.88. $7.888 times how many barrels of oil? 26.28. That's too much now. That's 207.29 million. So that's too much. We know how much they paid. 17% is too much. 15% is too little. Let's go 16%. I'm curious. Like I said, I'm curious, guys. Let's try this again. 58 times 16%. $9.28 times 80% of that. We're left with 7. Their cut is 7.424 times 26.28 million barrels of oil. And it's 195. Okay. I was right. My initial guess then. It was somewhere between 15 and 16%. And they might have a higher ratio because it's going to be more of a drawn out payment. They put some cash down and then they're going to do financing for the next 6 months. That could play into the price. Like I said, it was a private. What was it? Colgate has some investors. The person they got it from is undisclosed. But look, this is undeveloped land, guys, in New Mexico. So I know that was like a critique of mine, and I was waiting for an undeveloped land study, and I was just snooping around, and Colgate popped into my head, and I'm like, yes, intuition, let's go find Colgate. So I did, and I was glad because that was a recent one, November 7th, and they have some pretty good prices there for raw land. If you do it if you do it per barrel oil, that's pretty good. If you do it on a per acre basis, you're going to be sad. But on a per oil basis, that's very good. Like I said, it works out in the formula. I mean, like I said, that's your biggest factor is the cost, market price of oil, and that 12 to 18%. That's a lot of fat. Usually for raw land, it's 12, and there's not many rigs on this one. So I find that interesting how they went with 15%. That's more akin to the Pioneer Continental Oklahoma Continental deal, but that had 600 miles of water pipeline on it. So yeah, that's the Roller Pigeons method applied to this deal with Colgate and undisclosed seller. Again, this gives me very good confidence with MMTLP and the special dividend. Oil's coming back up. It ended, what was it? Well, now it's back at 70. It got up to like 70 something a barrel today, and then it went back down, and now it's going back up. It went back down, I guess, with Biden saying he's going to release more reserves, but okay, it's not that much oil, in the reserves. It's about as much oil as is in this property. And again, the COVID variant. But oil's back up. It was above 70. All right, that's it for today. That's applying the Roller Pigeons mathematical method to this particular case study. Not birded up. I was eating popcorn, but I had to get this out. Like I said, did the maths. All right, guys. I will catch you later. Like I said, we're waiting for updates. Hopefully something will be said this Friday at the investors meeting. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.